Hello everybody, this is Andrew with Andrew's Football Strategies and Plays. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about the 1-5-5 defense for American football. As you can see, you've got your standard 2 receiver by 2 receiver set, as well as a fullback here. You'll see a lot of teams will go into a 1-5-5. It's not real popular. A lot of teams are still using this for end of the half, end of the game situations where the offense might be trying to get into a scoring situation for a field goal or a touchdown to tie the game or to win the game. So there's a lot of different ways you can do this. A lot of the schools that do use this use their 4 defensive backs here, the cornerbacks, the nickel, and the dime, as essentially an island. They're going to be out there against their receivers on an island. They may not even have a free safety over the top. We'll talk about that in an upcoming video. So what are the advantages of the 1-5-5 defense? 1-5-5 defense essentially allows you to replace either 2 or 3 of your down linemen, depending on if you play a 3 or a 4 front, with your best rushers. And you can attack the offense and their quarterback in a number of ways from here. And we'll talk about that here in just a minute. So as I said, you'll pretty much usually have your defensive backs on the outside on an island, and you're going to usually rush 6 or even sometimes 7. Here we're going to do, the first thing I'm going to show you is pretty much a straight up rush of 6 different of the 1 defensive lineman and the 5 defensive backs or linebackers. So your nose tackle, we will have him slant to his right, which would be the quarterback's left here. The middle linebacker would usually go the opposite way of the nose tackle, coming into the A gap to his left, to the quarterback's right here. Your Sam backer you'll probably have him coming through the B gap right here, and the stud backer on the outside will come to the outside C gap here. And then on the weak side, obviously, you'll have your wheel linebacker coming through here on the B gap here on the weak side, and your cat or your rover, depending on who you call it or what you want to call it, or your different calling numbering systems for your backs and blitz schemes, will come here on the backside C gap essentially. So each of the gaps would have a single rusher coming with no pre-snap shift or motion. So that will show you here how this works. I'm going to run it here. Looks like the Sam and the stud backers need to be put up there just a little. Let's try this again here. Show, run, and the the Sam backer needs to get put on his line just a little more. Show that, run that there. So as you can see, every gap is covered there. Now, a lot of teams with this will do this if the quarterback is a really athletic type of quarterback, a hybrid runner, option type quarterback who can pull the ball and run. Maybe isn't afraid of getting hit. So you'll have that here. Then you also have, let's see what's going on here, okay. Then if you're not dealing with a speedster type quarterback who's not afraid, or who is afraid of running, I should say, you might want to consider overloading one of the sides here. I will show you guys the overload to the running back side here. So the nose tackle would come here to the left. Now the Mike backer, you can do a couple of different things. you can have him stunting in behind the nose tackle here, like this, coming to the quarterback. Hopefully getting past the slide block here, or even coming straight up off of the slide. Because in a minute here I'll show you the left guard, even if they're sliding, will probably have to cut back to take the wheel, hopefully leaving from here to about here open for a free shot on the quarterback from the mic backer. And then your sandbacker taking his normal lane there, and the stud backer taking his normal path there on the C-gap. Backside here, you can have the wheel loop in. I'll show you here what I'm talking about. Especially if you're doing an overload, this is great because you can come here. And so the guard, even if he's sliding, if he does slide to pick up the mic backer, the wheel will have a free shot here to the quarterback like this. Here. The left tackle will generally be going to the outside guy, although many teams train inside out, so he could be sliding over on the wheel. If that's the case, the K or the rover will have a free shot here to the quarterback. So, depending on their slide protection and how you execute, if you come through here, the weak side A gap here, because you're smashing 4 guys to the strong side, when this is done right, either the K or the wheel will most likely have the clear shot to the quarterback. Chances are the linebacker here the left guard will slide protect over, and we'll show you here. He will probably slide protect here. The center will probably slide protect strong side. The right guard will slide, and the right tackle will slide. The left tackle will probably drop, taking the K or the rover. This will essentially free up your will to hit the quarterback and hopefully get a sack. Now, again, you have to be careful depending on how fast this quarterback is and what his risks are based on your film study. A lot of teams also are very afraid to have their quarterback move around much when they're trying to move the ball quickly to get in a field goal range or score a touchdown. So he should get a sack here. Now, quarterback pulls and your guy misses, he's going to be open for a big gain. So you could have your free safety spying this guy. Although he's so far back, he might drop into coverage. So I'll show you here. If your free safety drops, the quarterback here sees that. I'm going to change that to a arrow. Quarterback drop, or the free safety drops. And we will put gold here for the quarterback. So your quarterback's dropping. He sees the blitz coming. He sees the left tackle has secured his block. He's going to come here. Free safety now has to respond. And has to make up a lot of ground, depending on where the X and the S have taken their man in the coverage scheme. Now, most likely, they will be running some sort of out and deep route and out route combo to both sides. There are different ways using this type of formation to counter that into coverage as well, and only rushing 1 or 2 guys. We will talk about that in an upcoming video. So I'm going to go and show you guys this here. As you can see, the quarterback is seeing the run here. And he's coming out. Right there. As you can see, the quarterback's coming here. Free safety has a lot of room to make up. This 10 yards is the 20 yards here is just for visual purposes. This could be probably much greater than a 10-yard gain here. So the other thing that is great about the 155 defense is the multiple pre-snap shifts you can do to confuse the down lineman and the quarterback for their slide protections. As we know, in most slide protections, the running back or fullback in this case will go opposite of the slide. So, if you have a team that's constantly doing slide protection and not straight back man, you may have to do a lot more pre-shift motion, which may or may not help. It just depends on your speed and your risk tolerance for who you're playing against. So here you can see the nose tackle. He might shift, or you might have him shift here to the B gap to the weak side. Then on the snap, he would take his normal route through the B gap there. He would take what would be a normal route in that gap to the quarterback. There on the B gap, weak side. Your Mike backer can have him shift down, pre-snap, and I'll have him go out here to the C gap strong side and crash that gap there. I'll have the Sam and the Will backed. Essentially trade places here, and I'll show you why in a minute. So the Sam back will shift over here to where the Will backer essentially is. Then he is going to smash right here on top of the center, because remember, we're expecting them to do a slide package. So hopefully with the shifting, the slide protection on the caps will break down. The Will here will shift essentially to where the Sam was, and he's going to come right here, kind of almost a crossing loop. It doesn't have to be, but essentially in this case, for visual purposes, you can see how the Sam and the Will are crossing right over the center there. And keep that in mind. Now the K and the Sam, you can leave those open, leave them as is with no shift. I'll show you here the Sam. You can either go here into the B gap and then into the quarterback, or you can have him follow the Mike backer there on the C gap, crashing two guys there. On the weak side here is kind of essentially the same thing as the stud and the Mike. You can have your K come out hard on the C gap. Change his color here to orange. Or you can have him again crash following the nose tackle through the B gap and to the quarterback too. So when I'm saying the slide protection scheme here, they're probably going to usually slide to the left here, because the running back would be on the right. Not always, but let me show you when I'm talking here. I'm going to have them, the offensive lineman, be the color black here. So here you've got the left tackle sliding to pick up anything in the C gap. Your left guard is dropping, turning here, hitting the B gap. Your center is going to shift here, slide, trying to pick up anything coming through the A gaps here. More than likely, he would pick up probably the Will backer who has motioned to over, pre-snap, and is coming over hard this way. The right guard would obviously slide left and probably pick up the Will, although if your Sam, who had shifted over here, Hopefully, he overshoots or doesn't get there, and your backer gets in front or behind him to the quarterback. Your right tackle here would be shifting to cover the B gap here. Now, and then your fullback would be taking anything outside. So, as you can see here, there can be a number of options where it's a 2-on-1, whether here in the B gap, on the weak side, or here on the strong side. This happens and both guys are coming outside, the Mike and the stud, and the right tackle doesn't catch that in time and slides to empty space. So we will take this route off here. As you can see, he takes this gap here, and the Mike and the stud both came outside. The fullback will generally pick up the outside, or the inside rusher. So your Sam, the stud, should be able to get to the quarterback pretty quickly with the backside pressure. Quarterback will be dropping. Now the quarterback, if he's right-handed, will see the stud coming hard. So you have to keep that in mind. So on this side, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 against 4 rushers. So we're hoping that either the Will, who is cutting back across, or the nose tackle coming through here is able to break around the left guard. So if the rover comes through this side and the inside, he can get to the quarterback too. So if this is done right, as you can see, we're hoping that the left guard would take the nose tackle, and your K-back, your cat back, comes in behind him. Or you can have your K-back come on the loop here, show you here, looping behind the left guard's block of the nose tackle into this gap here. Remember, we're hoping that the center picks up the safety, the Will backer coming in hard or missing him. So you could, in theory, have the Will backer, the K backer, and your stud backer all getting to the quarterback. Now, the only danger is if the quarterback sees this coming, you don't have anyone out here unless you do what I like to call a buzz or a roll. Different coaches call it different things. I like to call it a buzz. You can also call it maybe a spy in this case, but it's not really a true spy. It'd be more of a buzz. So the free safety can come buzz here to maybe 8 yards, or if you're pretty sure he's going to run, maybe come down here. I really doubt the quarterback's going to pull and run to his right, because we're assuming the stud will come open. So in this case, the quarterback here has dropped. He sees the pressure coming, and he is going to run here. Then you now have a one-on-one with the free safety against the quarterback in an open field tackle. And of course, once the play breaks down and the quarterback runs past the line of scrimmage, you would expect the defensive backs to pull up and essentially go after the quarterback. So I'm going to show how this looks here. So they're shifting, they're coming in hard, quarterback sees and he runs. Let's do that again. The pre-shifting, coming in here, and the quarterback pulls. Now, one thing with these inside loops, you're essentially leaving the open of the middle of the line of scrimmage open, so a quarterback can see that and pull and run into it, and if you guys aren't careful, he could outrun them. So you do have to be careful with that. But now, in a end of the game situation where they're trying to score, I don't know how risky a quarterback would be. Got a lot of bodies coming through. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bodies flying through there, and from 5 to 6, depending on who gets there. You would have the Sam, the Will, the Cat coming in. And you also got the left guard, the center, and the right guard coming in here too. So quarterback 1 coming in here, if he gets tangled up, could get hurt real bad. And of course, that's a risk that all the players, take. We don't want them to get hurt, obviously, but it's sad to see someone get hurt. So hopefully the quarterback, or anyone for that matter, doesn't get hurt in a pile-up like that. However, if under true slide protection and if your men on defense execute this, there should not be a pile-up in the center here. So we'll run this one more time. Mike is shifting, everyone else is shifting, they're coming in hard. Quarterback sees that, he's dropping, he's pulling, and he's running. So that is the basics of the 1-5-5 pressure against a team trying to score at the end of the half or the end of the game. Please like this down below and leave a comment, and I hope